Duleep Trophy is concerned, and that big news is in fact here. There was a lot of talk about some senior members of the team being a part of the Duleep Trophy first round. Remember, you're going to have multiple rounds, but there is also a test series against Bangladesh which India will host. The two big names everyone was on the lookout for, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma. As at Sports Day we told you that it was left up to the discretion of the two players whether to take part in the first round of the Duleep Trophy or not. Breaking news coming in right now, the BCCI has put out a press release. Both those names, guess what? On there. However, as has been the diktat, we showed you that press release a couple of days back as well. Jay Shah in the month of February, when he said that it is now going to be mandatory for players to be taking part in domestic cricket. We need to bolster the pipeline as far as Indian cricket is concerned. The feeder system has to be robust, and in line with that, we now see the BCCI not just talk the talk but walk the talk as well, because some real big names from the first team will be seen taking part in the first round. Two very fine gentlemen alongside me, Shashwat Balla, Siddharth Gulati. We'll try and tell you who those names are. We'll in fact put out that press release for you as well. But first up, gents, any surprises over there?
Yeah, not really any surprises. As expected, Hardik Pandya and Jasprit Bumrah have been exempted, as it was obviously told by the BCCI in those reports. And those big names who are going to feature in the first round of the Duleep Trophy go from Shubman Gill to KL Rahul to Surya Kumar Yadav, who recently expressed his desire to be an all-format India player, not just a T20 specialist, to Nitish Kumar Reddy. Of course, he is an all-rounder whose name has been doing the ranks, but his subject in the tournament is his participation in the tournament is subject to fitness. Then you have Washington Sundar, Mohammad Siraj also, who didn't really have a good outing against Sri Lanka, but then he hasn't really been rested, but he has to play now in the Duleep Trophy. Then obviously there is Ruturaj Gaikwad. Umran Malik makes a comeback. Shreyas Iyer is captain of one of the four teams. There is Ishan Kishan, who is making a comeback. So that's actually a big news here. Akshar Patel also gets a look in, and so does Arshdeep Singh. And that's pretty much about it as far as the big or the prominent names are concerned.
Your thoughts?
In fact, my first thoughts, I'll be very, very honest. I know we were expecting two big names.
Any of the big names that we missed though?
Mukesh Kumar. No, if we talk about the players who've played for India, you have a Mukesh Kumar otherwise who will be featuring in this. I think apart from that, all the names, majority of the names have been covered by Gulati sir.
There's particular.
There's Harshit Rana also, but again not a regular in the Indian side. But what my first thoughts on this team are going to be, I'm really surprised and I'm really happy with the way Indian team is moving forward. See, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, you can sort of talk about them in a different sort. They are in a different sort of a zone right now, different sort of players, in a different league. They are at the fag end of their careers, already have sort of gotten out from one format. But a great thing that you'll have Shubman Gill, you'll have Yashasvi Jaiswal,
Rutu captain one of the sides.
Yeah, Rutu Raj is captain. Shreyas Iyer makes a comeback. What this means is that majority of the players who are a regular in the Indian Test side, most of them are playing.
Absolutely. In fact, you subtract. I'm sorry to cut you short there, Shashwat. You subtract Rohit and Virat. Yeah. I see all the other 9 players. Yeah. Of course, minus Jasprit Bumrah, because he's an exceptional case. Mohammad Shami, we know, is recovering. But otherwise, if you do have a pool of 15 Indian players as far as Test cricket goes in mind, then I see the other 12 to 13 players in the fray for the Duleep Trophy. So the word's very clear as far as the BCCI is concerned, and now players have to make themselves available is what we are given to understand. Now players actually making themselves available, not unlike in the past where we saw players sort of circumvent these situations, not make themselves available. They'd be seen training here and there but not play domestic cricket. Now though, for somebody like an Ishan Kishan, we must spend time talking about Ishan Kishan, Shreyas Iyer. This happens to be now the gateway for them to make a comeback into the Indian team. Remember, both for not giving priority to domestic cricket were shown the door, but now perhaps a bit of a gateway there for the two players to be making a comeback now in the Indian
Definitely,
team.
And not just that, I feel for Shreyas Iyer, in fact, this is going to be a big boost, because if you just look at all the captains of the four sides, you can see all the people who are part of the leadership group or have been part. You have Shubman Gill, you have Ruturaj Gaikwad, and you also have Shreyas Iyer. So just clearly shows that Shreyas Iyer, most likely you will see him making a comeback comeback, a strong comeback for India moving ahead also, and the selectors also won that clearly. And apart from 3 players who play for India regularly, you have, I'm not accounting Mohammad Shami here because he's sort of he's injured right now, but Jasprit Bumrah, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. Apart from that, everyone has featured in this team, even a Ravindra Jadeja. So this clearly shows that it wasn't just lip service by the BCCI at this point. Yeah, I do agree, many people would still be raising questions on the fact that Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, but I feel that's sort of a separate debate and a separate thing to talk about. But apart from that, I think what the BCCI said, what we had a dugout that day in which we saw that statement from Jay Shah in Feb. You also heard from Gautam Gambhir and Ajit Agarkar also, that everyone will be playing domestic cricket now. Suddenly, see, we also here are standing here and talking about the Duleep Trophy because the squads are announced. This clearly shows that suddenly the focus would start to shift on domestic cricket, and I'd say this is just a baby step in that direction, but yeah, definitely a good way to start off.
So there are 2 players whom I would really like to talk about specifically. One is obviously the comeback of Ravindra Jadeja. Remember, he is yet to play an international game after India won the T20 World Cup way back in June. Since then, obviously, he is retired from the T20I format. So he was specifically rested for the ODIs against Sri Lanka. That was mentioned by Ajit Agarkar in the press conference leading up to the series. So that is obviously one of them. And secondly, I would like to talk about Rishabh Pant here.
Okay, so before we delve into both those names, since we have that graphic ready for everyone, just for you, we have that graphic on air now. That's the 4 teams that the Indian players have been divided into. There you see, just for convenience, I'm going to read out the captains of all the sides, but for the benefit of all of you, so that you understand as to who those players are, we already have touched upon a few names, but the entire list there in front of you. Shubman Gill will be captain of Team A. There is also going to be Indian players like Dhruv Jurel, Mayank Agarwal, KL Rahul, Shivam Dubey, Kuldeep Yadav in that side in Team B. Abhimanyu Iswaran, Yashashvi Jaiswal, Sarfaraz Khan, Rishabh Pant, Mushir Khan. Some of these players have already played for India. Remember, Mushir Khan still awaiting his chance. The Washington Sundar, Ravindra Jadeja, Mohammad Siraj in the same side. Let's talk about Team C now. There is Ruturaj Gaikwad, who is, remember, looked at as a captaincy potential going forward, even though things haven't been going his way in the recent times. But the fact that he gets to lead Team C is again a show of promise, is again a word of confidence in Ruturaj Gaikwad. There is Sai Sudarshan, there is R. Sai Kishore as well to look forward to. There is Sandeep Warrior, somebody who you saw impress in the IPL. And moving on to Team D, that's where you have Shreyas Iyer as the captain of the side. There is Atharva Taide, there is Devdutt Paddikal, who recently played in the Test series, Ishan Kishan as well, a name that Siddharth Gulati just mentioned. There is KS Bharat, also somebody who you thought was done and dusted and no longer in the scheme of things as far as Test cricket is concerned. He too happens to be named in Team D.
But then, there's one point that I would specifically like to mention about Rishabh Pant. He has been selected purely as a batter. There is no wicket keeper, in front of his name. Like in all the four squads that was, played out as a graphic, there was specifically the wicket keepers were mentioned. Like, in Team A, there was, if I'm not wrong, I think there's Dhruv Jurel, there was KS Bharat also in one of the teams, but Rishabh Pant, I think maybe he's just being looked at as a batter as of now. Maybe his fitness is not really up to the mark.
I'll tell you what. There's no, because in that in Rishabh Pant's team there is just one wicket keeper and Jagdishan. Yes. So every team, other teams have 2 wicket keepers. So Rishabh Pant would be, I think, the second wicket keeper for Team B, maybe the first wicket keeper moving ahead.
Maybe.
Right. But of course the big takeaway there being, are we surprised though that Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma aren't there?
Maybe I think they would have needed some kind of match practice to get into the test mode ahead of the series against Bangladesh, New Zealand, and then the all-important Border Gavaskar Trophy. We have specifically seen that India's spin struggles were highlighted during the ODIs against Sri Lanka, and that's where I think the teams like Bangladesh and even New Zealand also do have potent spin attacks. Remember, New Zealand are going to field with 5 spinners when they come to India for the 3-match test series. So yeah, obviously that match practice could have been handy, but then Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli are proven performers. They've done it time and again for India across formats. So maybe they, at this moment, they probably feel that rest is going to benefit them more. than playing one match.
I feel there are two sides to this story. See, first side of the story is players like a Shubman Gill, KL Rahul, all these players are not like at their end of their career. That day we were discussing, maybe in this year we'll just see Virat and Rohit feature 16 times only. So that just clearly means that there is not, I know it seems like 2027 seems to be really far away, but the number of ODIs and tests that you're going to play, they are very less. So as far as that is concerned, maybe they have very less cricket left in them, and that is why they would not want to play Duleep Trophy, because again they're at the fag end of their career. There is no such scope of improvement in that sense. But the other side of the story is also that maybe because why we want all the other players to play domestic cricket, maybe they also should play, even if they are sort of at that, both of them are in the late 30s, they sort of they will getting away from cricket. So I see, again these are two sides. You can look at it in either way.
The way I look at this is perhaps there is an eye being kept on workload management as well. The other day when that press conference took place, we were told that there's 10 test matches, including the 5 BGT matches that are to take place. Now, if I look at certainties to start in all 10, I only see those two names, and probably there could be a third name here and there. But otherwise, maybe that of a Kuldeep, but that he too, depending on the conditions we've seen, he's not always started for the Indian team. So maybe there is the vision is that maybe they be given some more rest, because they really have 10 test matches to play going forward, and that's the reason why this courtesy has been extended to them. Because otherwise, you see, let's look at names. Is a Yashasvi Jaiswal, Shubman Gill, are they guaranteed starters? With contest now, with the competition, especially in the middle order, intensifying, you saw what happened in the recently concluded series as well. Shreyas, Iyer was there, then there was KL Rahul who was there, then you had runs from Shubman Gill also, and then you saw after the third test match there were changes in the middle order also. So keeping all of that in mind, maybe the idea is, because in those 10 test matches you want Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli to be there in all 10, and they are certainties in all 10 test matches. Same cannot be said about a Jasprit Bumrah, the same cannot be said about a Mohammad Shami as well. He's coming back from an injury. Jasprit Bumrah, we know, needs to be protected, and maybe he doesn't play all the 3 test matches in the New Zealand series as well. Who knows? In the 5 test matches, again, you will need Jasprit Bumrah in all matches, but can it be a surety that he'll play all 5? Maybe if you have a little bit of a lead, maybe you want to rest him in the BGT as well. So those things are also something you're going to be looking at. So perhaps that's the reason. However, I will go ahead and mention that I feel if you really want to make things serious in domestic cricket, if you really want to give domestic cricket the kind of prestige that it used to have, the kind of pedestal on which domestic cricket used to be, then maybe you need the bigger sharks as well to be there. The good thing is that, again, those 8 to 10 players from that 15 pool that we were talking about, pool of 15, maybe more than that in fact, are there. So that is a good enough statement being made in itself. However, it does help in terms of drawing crowds to the stadium. If you want it to be, let's say, the kind of domestic cricket you've seen in Mumbai in the years, then you need these big names to be playing in those matches as well. It could be here and there, it's a cramped schedule, we know, but you need crowd pullers like a Rohit and a Virat as well. Only then will the crowd really be drawn.
True, absolutely. And I think in case of BCCI maybe trying to reboot the Duleep Trophy, there was a time when they did not really, the tournament did not really take place for a couple of years. But now if you want to make sure that, you reboot the tournament, and how about, make it a consistent thing from now on. So that's why, the participation of the players who are those top players in the Indian cricket team, and obviously, in the IPL circuit also, be a regular participant in this.
In fact, there's one surprise also. I just read that comment that there is no Rinku Singh in this, and this is really
a surprise.
Yeah, it is really a big surprise for me personally, because he was there till the South Africa series. He was there in the scheme of things. He went for the India A squad also. He was there with this for the South African Test series. But it is really surprising to not see him in this side.
Even I think, if I'm not wrong, there is no Tilak Verma also.
No,
Tilak is in team A, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he's there.
Tilak is there. Okay. So interesting. Rinku Singh, when just after this comes a few weeks after Vikram Rathod, the previous batting coach, says that he sees the credentials in Rinku Singh to become a test cricketer. He doesn't get selected. Surprising that in 4 teams Rinku Singh doesn't get a look in. That tells us a thing or two as to how the BCCI is looking at him. Is he being looked at the way Surya Kumar Yadav was being looked at? But clearly Surya Kumar Yadav has been given another chance to prove himself. He's captained the Mumbai side. We know he's been involved in domestic cricket. But let's see what it is for Rinku Singh going forward. It's a bit of a disappointment, but yeah, nothing there being said in the notes as well. The only note that we see in this press release is for Nitish Kumar Reddy, who we know was supposed to play in the Zimbabwe series but missed out because of injury. Really unfortunate. So clearly he's not fully recovered from that as well. Another bright talent one has to be looking out for as well. Before we wind up, we'll just take a couple of other comments as well. Sarat Chandra Yalamarthi says, why no Jadeja? Sarat Chandra, he is in fact there. Yes. Team C, if memory serves me right, is where Ravindra Jadeja is going to be featuring. Any other questions, Pawan, that we can answer right now? And I think, will all players play round 2? That's not going to be the thing, because
that'll start on 14th or 12th if I'm not wrong.
The Bangladesh Test series will be replaced for the round 2.
That's right. Right. So there will be plenty. You're easily looking at about 8 to 10 new names being thrown into the ring, because so many of these players are then going to be unavailable after the first round. Starts on the 5th of September, but 19th of September is when the first test match against Bangladesh begins, and as preparation for that test series, some of these players will leave immediately after the first round is over. Any other questions?
Just one more question we can take before we wrap up. Freaking Awesome has a comment that after the return of Kohli and Pant, do you think Sarfaraz Khan will be considered for selection in Test? Well, I think it's a good question. First of all, it's going to be tough for Sarfaraz to make it to the first 11, because Kohli and Pant, they obviously select themselves, and for Sarfaraz, I think it's basically going to be a toss-up between Sarfaraz and KL Rahul for that one middle order slot. But based on the seniority and obviously based on the experience that KL Rahul has, not just in the Indian conditions but in the Australian conditions too. Remember, he has toured Australia 3 times now, beginning with 2014. From that perspective, I think India might begin with KL Rahul.
No, as a wicketkeeper. No, as a middle
order slot.
No, I feel that for Rishabh Pant, I think he's going to be a walk-in for Dhruv Jurel as far as the last series is concerned.
Maybe.
And Rajat Patidar, you'll have Virat Kohli in place of Rajat Patidar. I think Sarfaraz should and will retain his position.
Okay.
In the 11.
In the 11?
I doubt. You just think you'll get in a KL Rahul?
I doubt.
But on the basis of what?
I have my doubts. See, again, when conditions were friendly, I know he got that 50 on his debut. However, when things became challenging,
so you'll get KL Rahul.
See, KL Rahul obviously began the series against England in which he got that 80 odd in the first test, but then he had an injury. So had it not been for the injury thing, Sarfaraz Khan might not have even made his debut. So from that perspective, obviously KL Rahul is a sure shot starter in the middle order. And remember, KL Rahul has been confirmed by the Indian cricket management now that he is going to be Indian. He's going to have a permanent slot in the middle order now going forward.
That's right. Okay, we will at this point. Okay, there's more breaking news in fact coming in. We'll be back shortly. There is update as far as Vinesh Fogart is concerned. Join us live for that update. We're going to be back very, very shortly. For now, Siddharth Gulati, Shashwat Balla, Harshit Ahuja, we'll take your leave. Bye-bye.